Last week we discussed one theorem. That theorem was when we have two non-zero, non-parallel vectors like this, vector A and vector B are two non-parallel and non-zero vectors. Non-parallel, non-zero vectors. When this A and B are two non-zero, non-parallel vectors, if this A and B satisfy a vector equation of the form alpha A vector plus beta B vector is equal to null vector, we proved this becomes true if and only if alpha equals 0 and beta equals 0. This alpha and beta are two scalars. This A and B, two non-zero, non-parallel vectors. If they satisfy this kind of vector equation, that equation, vector equation implies this alpha scalar 0 and this beta scalar 0. That we proved. Today, I am going to discuss one knot. Thereafter, we can come to questions. Now, the knot is this. Suppose now the same two vectors A and B, non-parallel, non-zero, that two vectors satisfy people a vector equation like this: alpha A plus beta B equals gamma A plus delta B. This kind of vector equation, this A and B now satisfy. This A and B here are having these two properties: non-parallel, non-zero. Then I can bring this left-hand side vectors to left-hand side. Then alpha A, once you bring this to left-hand side, that will be minus gamma A. And here we have beta B vector. When you take this to this side, we have delta B equals. Now on the right-hand side, people, nothing available. That means right-hand side we have only 0. But people, that is not just 0. It is called as vector 0 or 0 vector or null vector. Because if we just put here 0, remember, this is a scalar. Left hand side, you know, people, a vector we have. Then this people, this, if is put only 0 here, left hand side we have a vector, right hand side we have 0. Left hand side is a vector, right hand side is a scalar. Then vector is equal to scalar. So therefore, remember, once you take this all the vectors to left hand side, people, on the right hand side we have to put null vector. Otherwise, the equation is wrong. Then here from these two terms, people, I can take this vector A out at minus gamma and simple A. From this take vector B out. Beta minus delta, take B out is equal to null vector. Right. Now, people, this alpha and gamma are two clear numbers. Then when you subtract this gamma from this alpha, for this difference, we get a single number. If I take this as, people, suppose x, then this has y. Then this takes the form finally x times a plus y times b is equal to null vector. What are these x and y, people? This x and y are two scalars, and a and b, two vectors, non-parallel, non-zero. Understood? That means the result here we have is very similar to the result here we have. A and B are two non-zero, non-parallel vectors. Alpha, beta are two scalars. Then alpha A plus beta B is equal to null vector, if A and B satisfy this kind of vector equation, we proved last week, this alpha should be 0, this beta should be 0. Like that, the same AB vectors here we have non-zero, non-parallel, x and y are two scalars. Then if xa plus yb is equal to null vector, mean this x should be 0, y should be 0. According to this theorem, last week we proved. So therefore, this implies us x equals 0 and y equals 0. But we know what is this x? X is alpha minus gamma. Therefore, this alpha minus gamma should be equal to 0 and y beta minus delta should be equal to 0. Then we'll this minus gamma right hand side, that will be plus gamma and beta equals delta. This is what we get. Then alpha equals gamma and beta equals delta we have people. That means we can directly see here, when we go to the very first vector equation here, if we have this vector equation involving two vectors A and B, the A and B vectors have this kind of two properties, non-parallel and non-zero. Then involving this kind of two vectors A and B, and if there is a vector equation like this alpha A plus beta B is equal to gamma A plus delta B, then people, when you consider this one, this result says in the left hand side, coefficient of this vector A alpha, and the right hand side coefficient of vector A this gamma, these coefficients must be equal. First one. Okay. And the other one is coefficients of B in the left and right. This is beta here, on the right hand side delta. Beta should be equal to delta. This two. So this is what we must understand by the result is. So therefore, people, when we have two vectors, non-zero, non-parallel, and involving that two vectors, if we have this vector equation, then you can equate coefficients of A vector and B vector left and right. That's what this knot gives us. Okay. So then people will write today the first knot before going to the questions in the tube. Knot. Let A and B be two non-zero, non-parallel vectors. Then correct. Also let alpha vector plus beta b vector is equal to gamma a vector plus delta b vector. Right now, obtain this result as a first knot today. Critical. Right, because now this is very useful relation in vectors. There are more applications using this. Okay. Now we'll go to a question in the tutorial paper. In your tutorial, take question number 9 in the page number 2. Question number 9 in page number 2. Tutorial PDF is put in the group paper. Question number 9. Read question number 9. Question number 9, you are given in the parallelogram OACB, given that OA vector is simple A, OB vector is simple B. The point capital D is from AC such that AD is to DC 3 is to 2. The lines OD and AB intersect at E. X plus OE vector is equal to lambda times simple A vector plus 3/5 times simple B vector, and OE vector should be vector A plus mu times B minus A vector, where lambda and mu scalars to be determined. Hence, find OE is to ED and AE is to EB ratio. This is a question. People again read the question, the answer, and draw the diagram for this. Most important thing is, according to the information given in the question, you should be able to draw the correct diagram, and you have to mark the correct information in this diagram. I can actually draw this one at once. So then, of course, without reading this question again and without understanding things given there, you might get the copy of this. That's not a good thing, people. So now read the question again and draw the diagram accordingly. Sometimes your diagram may be wrong. No mind, people. If you do like that first, and then if you get the correct one, then you will understand what is the error you made. And identifying that error you made is another important one, people. Okay, then you can change the way you think by that. Okay, here's the question again, then draw the diagram, people. Okay, the question is now this: in the parallelogram OACB, yes. Right, this is the parallelogram. Right, this parallelogram, therefore A, C, B. You know, when this is a parallelogram, people, opposite sides are equal in length and they are parallel. Okay. O A vector or A vector is simple A given OB vector, right, people, simple B also given. Then you can very clearly understand OB and AC are parallel, OB length and AC length are equal because this is a parallelogram. You know, geometrical properties of parallelogram. Opposite sides are equal and parallel. If I put people allocate of this AC directly this way people, then this OB vector and this AC vector become equal. Therefore, this AC vector also simple V. And similarly, if I put an arrow on this VC people, then this is simple A vector. It is the same reason. OA, VC are equal in length, they are parallel. The directed direction is also same when I put the arrow head like this on VC. So therefore, this VC vector also people simple A vector. Okay, this AC vector is equal simple V, and VC vector is equal simple A. Okay, right. Now next one. The point D is on AC. Point D on AC. Somewhere here will take point D. This is point D. Okay, I'll take it to be here. Point D is on AC such that AD-DC ratio, AD is to DC. This means people AD divided by DC. AD is to DC as a fraction we can write like this. Then it is given as AD DC is equal to 3:2. That means AD divided by DC left hand side, right hand side 3/2 equal. That means what equal? When this AD is 3 units, DC is 2 units. So don't take this way. Here this says AD is exactly 3 units, DC is 2 units. No people. This is a ratio. Ratio means you know AD DC actual length of AD people may be 30 centimeters. And actual length of DC may be 20 centimeters. But when we substitute them here, the actual length people 30 divided by 20 we get. Cancellation gives rise what? 3/2. This is the one we call as the ratio. So by this ratio, we want to get the exact length. To get the exact length people, here by this 3/2, to get the exact length of this AD and DC, you should multiply this by 10 now. Because we have cancelled down to get this ratio, this actual length by 10. By that same value, we have to multiply to get the exact length. So therefore, we have to very carefully understand what is the ratio figure and the actual length. Right? The ratio figure does not always give the actual length. There are some situations, people. Ratio figure will give actual length. Now, for example, if I take AD to be 7 centimeters, right, and DC to be 3 centimeters, people, then AD divided by DC going to be 7/3. This 7 and 3 can't be people simplified furthermore because they are prime numbers. Okay, we can't divide them multiplicity. So therefore, in this case, this ratio figure will show the actual length. Okay. So then remember therefore, this way when we have a ratio, it doesn't say actual length of the left hand side is figures, right? Now then D is the point on this AC such that 3:2. That means when this AD length is 3 units, this DC length is 2 units. Right? That's how we take this data. And people, next one given, the lines OD and AB, OD and AB, OD I draw here, and AB I draw here. Intersect at E. Intersect at E. Express OE. Express OE and another way OE. Yeah. Okay, right. Now, people, this is the given diagram. This is a given diagram, right? Okay, this is a given diagram. Now we'll see how to take the first answer, OE, right? Now, this is how we take this first answer, OE. OE means this vector now given, O to E vector now, right? First one, I can write this OE vector as a part of OD vector. Now, for example, people, suppose this OE length, actual length is OE, actual length is 4 units. OD actual length is 12 units. 12 units actual length. Then you can write this OE length as it is equal OD length divided by 3, no? Here OE length is 4, no? OD length is 12, no? 12 when you divide by 3, we get this 4, no? Okay. So therefore, I can write this OE length is equal to divided by 3, I can write as 1/3, no? Dividing by 3 means multiplying by 1/3, no? And this way I can. Okay. So now this relation I got by considering the actual lengths of this OE and OD. However, you know, this OE and OD here, OE and OD, they are the same line. Therefore, they are parallel. Okay. And the other thing is when I put the arrows so as to go out from this O for both OE and OD people, the directed directions are also the same. Then in the diagram there are two properties, line segments are parallel, directed direction also the same. Okay. And here this says the lengths are equal. So therefore, when we take all three properties into one, we can obtain people OE is equal to OE vector is equal to 1/3 OD vector. This way, vector relation we can write. Because this vector relation contains people that say all properties. So therefore, right, therefore, people here we can write when we have a line segment, and on this line segment, suppose there we have another point in between that 2 points, then one vector we can write in terms of the other vector. Now, people, suppose the same thing I am going to write like this. OD, right? And here, E. We say this is 4 units, right? Okay. Then what is this people? PD. Costing is 12, when you subtract 4, this is 8. This is 8 units. Okay. Then if I take this OE ED ratio, OE 4, ED 8. You can cancel down this by 4. We get 1:2. This way we get the ratio people. Then I am going to ignore the actual lengths. Now I am going to put the ratio figures. 1:2. You know, now tell me how to write this OE, the relation between OE vector and OD vector. Have you got? Right. So then this is how we write this kind of relationship between OE and OD. Right, people, now this is how we think. By point P, this original line segment OD, since this ratio is 1:2, how do we understand this 1 and 2 ratio figures? By point P, this OD line segment is divided into two parts in the ratio 1:2. And this ratio figures 1 and 2, it's 3, no? Yeah, then when we write this OE length, this is what we need to do. First, add these ratio figures. 1 plus 2 is 3. Now, the whole OD length divided by the sum of the ratio figures, 3. Okay. And now we need this OE now, people. What is the corresponding ratio figure for this OE? It is 1 now. Then this we have to multiply by 1. This we have to multiply by 1. Then we get this OE length. See here, in the early case, of course, I obtained OE length as 1/3 OD. No? This one we get here. Understand? Since now O to E and O to D here, OE, OD, they move to the same direction. The directions be the same. And this OE and OD are parallel because of the same line. So then people, we can write OE vector in the left hand side, OD vector on the right hand side, this one comes. So therefore people, remember, by this way, this one we can get a summary like this. Now suppose we have this way O, D, E, the ratio is lambda is to mu. Lambda is to mu. Then can you tell me how to write this OD vector? OD vector in terms of this OE vector. Yeah. First, OE vector. We divide by what people? Sum of these ratio figures. Lambda plus mu. Sum of the ratio figures. Lambda plus mu. These are ratio figures, people, not actual length. Dividing actual length by common value. The simplest fraction is called as the ratio. Now, OD we need, then OE I divided by the sum of the ratios. Now, not like that, this should be multiplied by what, people? We are getting this OD now. For this OD, what is required? Ratio figure. Lambda now, by lambda we have to multiply. That's how we take this OD vector in terms of OE vector. Okay. Now people like that. Here, OD vector and OE vector both on the same line. Then you can, when you see this OE vector can be written as a multiple of OD vector. Here, OE vector 1/3 OD. Here, OED on the same line. So according to this diagram, OE vector I can write a multiple of OD. That means multiplying OD by a value, we can obtain OE vector. That's very obvious thing. Understand? Like here, I did OE 1/3 OD. Then to get this OE vector from this OD vector should be multiplied by 1/3. Like that, people, I can say here this OE vector I can obtain multiplying this OD vector by lambda. What is lambda? Lambda is a real number, scalar. Its value should be less than 1. Why? OE is shorter than this OD. That's the reason. OE is shorter than OD. This way, a scalar coming here and that kind of a scalar really available. We can find such scalar. Since we don't know that one, I take that as lambda. I think you agree with me. Right. Here it is 1/3. So then this place we have 1/3. That 1/3 is this lambda. Like that, there's a particular value for lambda. So that this OE vector left hand side is equal to lambda times OD on the right hand. Okay. Then we can start the question like that. So therefore, by this explanation, people you must understand when we are given a line segment with another point, okay, with the ratio, using this ratio figure, one vector you can write as a multiple of the other vector. How to write people that? First add these ratio figures, by that sum, divide the whole vector by that, and when you need this vector, by the corresponding figure, the right hand side you have to multiply. That's the first thing you have to understand. And the other thing is, people, this way when you have same line and this shorter vector, you can write a multiple of the long vector. For that multiply, we get a real number. Such real number exists in. Okay. Okay, right. So then people will start our question from there. You can now write people this way. You can write OE vector can be written as lambda times OD vector, where lambda is a real number. Okay, I take this as number 1. OE vector we can write as lambda times OD vector. Now, people, can you tell me how to find this OD vector? Now, OD vector. OD vector means, people, this vector from here to here. OD vector. How to write that OD vector? OD vector we can write as O A vector plus A D vector. OD vector is equal to OA plus AD. OA vector plus AD vector. And people, can you tell me how to write this A D vector in terms of A C vector? Okay. A D vector I need to write in terms of A C vector. How? Yeah. This A D vector equals now OA plus this AD vector. Here, first add these ratio figures. 3 plus 2, it's 5. Then the long vector AC we divide by first 5, no? Right. AC we divide by 5. AC vector we divide by 5. But we need this AD vector now. For this AD vector, what is the corresponding ratio figure? 3. Then this should be multiplied by people 3. Understand? Right, we get like that. Now I can write people OD vector equals OA. What is this OA vector? OA vector given as simple A vector. Okay? Simple A vector plus 3 divided by 5 plus AC vector. AC vector. AC vector is B. B times. Then we got people OD vector. We got this OD vector. Okay. Now this OD vector we substitute number 1 for this OD. Now by number 1 we can write O to E vector is equal to people lambda times OD vector means here this is OD now, OD is this now. A plus we divide by 5 times vector simple B. See here we get the first answer. We get the first answer. OE vector is equal to lambda times A plus 3 upon 5 times B vector. That first answer coming. That would be the first answer coming. Right. Okay. Okay, first people very carefully analyze how to get this answer. First 2-3 questions you have to do again and again and think. Then of course you will get a practice, and thereby you can straight away determine how to start the next question to take the answer, right? Yeah. Okay, now people another expression for this same OE vector we need to obtain. Right. Then second expression for this OE I supposed to take like this. Because you can see here OE vector we can write by using the triangle law of vector addition O A plus A E. OE vector I can write as O A plus A E. The OA vector we have, but AE vector we don't know. So let's try to find this AE vector. AE vector. Right. Now I'm going to take the next one like this. I can write this AE vector. Let AE vector. Look at this people, AE vector here. A to E. I can write this AE vector as a part of AB vector. As a part of AB vector. Is it possible, right? Possible, right? AE vector, AE line segment and AB line segment, both on the same line. When you move from A to E and A to B, the directed direction also same. That means lines are parallel, directed direction is also same. So therefore, this shorter vector AE, we can write as a multiple of long vector. That means AE vector can be obtained multiplying this AB vector by a particular value. This value should be less than 1. The reason is this is longer one, this is a shorter one. From a longer one, if you need to take a shorter one, the longer one should be multiplied by a value which is less than 1. Correct, okay? By 100 centimeters, if you need to take 50 centimeter, 100 should be multiplied by half. Multiplied by half means dividing by 2, no? So there is the value here. That's a real number which is less than 1. I am going to assume that real number as mu because we don't know exact value. I am going to assume that as mu. Understand? Again, I can write let AE equals mu times AB. Right? This is number 2, people. Number 2, where mu is a real number. And you can very slightly with me. Multiplying this AB vector by a value which is less than 1, we can obtain this AE vector. Okay. Now, you can write equal this AB vector. Right. What is this AB vector, people? AE vector is equal to mu times AB vector here. A to B vector. You can write how, people? A O plus O B. A O plus O B. AE vector. Now we can write equal mu times. I write first OB. What is OB? OB is B. I write this one first because we know these two vectors when we add, we can change the order of adding them. That we learned where under commutative law. Right. So then I write first this OB vector, it is B. Well, now we have to write this plus AO. Plus AO. But you know, I can interchange this order of the letters. Then we said what extra minus sign coming before. But then this AO vector I am going to write as minus OA. Minus OA vector. But OA vector is given simply. Right? Then we get AE vector is equal to mu times B minus simply. A vector. Okay. Right now, I think you can clearly understand up to here. Now, because now we know AE vector. We needed to find what is OE vector. Now we can write this OE vector how? O A plus A E. Now we can write now OE vector by the triangle of vector addition. You can write OE vector is equal to O A vector plus A E vector. O A vector is equal that simple A vector. Simple A plus A E vector. This one now you can substitute. Mu times B minus A. It is the OE vector. Right. Then we get people the second answer asking. This lambda and mu values people we have to find. Lambda and mu values we have to find. That is how we take the two expressions for OE. I come up with people. Really, this is a very easy one. Right? Very easy one. So far, we learned something. And they are very easily, of course, we can understand, no? So hereinafter, the next part also, the calculation part, very easy. Other thing is, you have to actually adapt this situation. So until we do 3-4 questions, people, you will have particular inconvenience how to start, why do we take like this, and how to think and so on when issues come into your mind. At the moment, don't think them. Allow this mind think freely till we do another 3-4 questions. Then, of course, you will come to the correct path. There are limited number of approaches to get the answer. So once you learn all them people completely, then you can work out questions on yourself. Right. Patiently you have to work until you reach that position. Right. Now we will learn next part. Next part is this lambda and mu we have to find. And not only that, OEED ratio and AEEB ratio also we need to find. Then to find this lambda and mu figures, people, this is what I am going to do. Now you can see very clearly here the first expression we obtained is for OE. Second one also for OE. The same vector we have found in two ways. OE vector, OE vector. Right? The left hand sides of these two expressions be the same vector. Therefore, the right hand side should also be equal. Understand? So therefore, we can equate this right hand side toward this. Okay, right now. Then we will write that one. Okay. I guess this is all. I can write. Let's equate. Let's equate the expressions obtained for AE vectors. That means this should be equal to this. Lambda times A plus 3 by 5 times with vector symbol B is equal to this A plus mu times B minus A vector. I think you can clearly understand after this, right? What we did, we equated this right hand sides of OE vectors we obtained. They can be equated because left hand side is everything available on both expressions, then the right hand side should definitely be equal. That's very obvious thing, right? Now people, now only we come toward the theorem last week at the end of the class we proved. and not really said. Okay. Now before going there, what I do is this people. I multiply by this lambda within bracket this vectors. Then here this becomes lambda a. And this one and this when you multiply, you get 3 lambda divided by 5 times b. And it is equal to a little bracket mu b. This and this value 1 minus mu a. Then this a vector we have here as well as here. I take that a vectors together, and since this a here and here a common, I can take simple a vector out from a bracket. Then here we have a means 1 times a no. Then here 1 minus mu. This a you can take out like this. Okay, I took a vector from here and here out from a bracket like this. Plus mu times b. And here we have lambda a plus 3 lambda divided by 5 times b. Now this kind of vector equation we have at the moment, people. People, what can you say about this simple A vector and simple B vector? Simple A vector is really represented by this OA line segment. You can see that OA line segment has a definite length, it is not 0. So therefore simple A vector is not equal to 0 vector. Similarly, this simple B vector is represented by OB line segment. OB line segment has a definite length. So therefore simple B vector is non-zero vector. And the other thing is this OA line segment and OB line segment are people not parallel, very obvious. Both the line segments OA and OB begin from O, the same point. If people two line segments begin from same point, which are not overlapped, then definitely such two line segments people not parallel. So therefore, what can you say about the simple A vector and simple B vector? Simple A vector and simple B vector people non-zero, non-parallel vectors. Two non-zero, non-parallel vectors. So can you remember the not today we learned? We said when A and B are two non-zero, non-parallel. Two non-zero, non-parallel vectors. If this A and B satisfy this kind of vector equation, if A and B are satisfying this kind of vector equation, I proved today people, this A left and right the coefficients must be equal, this B left and right the coefficients must be equal. Same thing people here we can apply. A and B in this diagram are non-zero non-parallel vectors, then this vector equation containing this kind of vector equation. So therefore, in order to occur this vector equation true people, the left hand side coefficient of simple A vector should be equal to right hand side coefficient of simple A vector. Left hand side coefficient of simple B vector should be equal to right hand side coefficient of simple B vector. Thereby, you can draw two equations involving lambda and mu. They will be two simultaneous equations. So then we can find lambda. I think after this, what we say, people, equating coefficients of simple A vector and simple B vector. But you get people here lambda, right hand side 1 minus mu. A vector coefficients can be equate people. Lambda should be equal to 1 minus mu. Let us take this as equation 1 and 2 we have used now 3. The coefficients of B, left hand side 3 lambda by 5. Right hand side is mu. Number 4. Now people, by solving this 3 and 4, we can take the values of lambda and mu. After figure, right? How to get this now, people? Try to get this lambda mu. I was calling these two equations 3 and 4. You know, the easiest way of getting in this case the lambda and mu figures at this 3 and 4. At this 3 and 4. At this 3 and 4. You know how to get two equations. That is 3 and 4. On adding 3 and 4, we get people left hand sides of the equations we have read together. Lambda plus b lambda by 5 is equal to 1 minus mu plus mu. Minus mu plus mu we can cancel now. In here is lambda, we have one more, take the common denominator is 5. Or else people, you can multiply both sides by 5. That's also very similar to take the common denominator 5n in the left hand side. This is the first multiplication. Once you multiply both sides by 5, this will be 5 lambda. When you multiply this by 5, that 5 and this 5 we can cancel down. This is 3 lambda. Now right hand side after cancellation, this 2 we get only 1. When you multiply it by 5, we get 5 there. The left hand side is therefore 8 lambda is equal to 5. Lambda can be found dividing both sides by 8. It is 5 by 8. Lambda is that much. Then to find this mu people, that lambda we substitute directly. Now by 4. Now by 4 we can write mu equals 3 divided by 5. 3 divided by 5 lambda. Lambda is 5 by 8. This 5 and this 5 can cancel down. Mu comes as 3 by 8. 3 by 8. Then we found because this lambda and mu. Lambda and mu. Okay. Lambda and mu figures we found. Now ask people to determine OE, and AEEB ratio. Right. Now we can come to that part, right? First take these answers. Right. To get next answers, I'm going to start from this number 1. Now by number 1. Number 1 says OE vector is equal to lambda times OD. Here people, I'm going to eliminate this what? Vector. You know when two vectors are equal, that says the left and right line segments equal in lengths. So therefore, by this, therefore, we get what people left hand side length OE is equal to lambda times OD. What is lambda? 5 by 8. 5 by 8 times OD. Okay. Now I divide both sides by OD. I divide both sides by OD. When I divide both sides by OD, this OD comes here. OD divided by OD is equal to 5 by 8. By 8. What is asking there, people? Asking what? OEED ratio. Right. Now, people now here OEED. Right. So then I bring this on the line. Here O. Somewhere here we have E. Suppose D. Now refer this ratio OE OD. OE when OE is 5 units. OD is 8 units. That's what this says. When OE is 5 units, OD is 8 units. That means when OE is 5 units from here to here, 5 units. OD from here to here, it should be 8 units. Here to here, 8 units. Here to here, 5 units. Then here to here, how much people? 3 units. Then only O2 D. This 8, 5 plus 3 being 8. Now you can see these two figures are not actual lengths. They are the ratio figures. When we have something like this is how we determine the ratio. Then you can very clearly see OE is of 5 units, ED comes as 3 units. So therefore, now you can write the ratio. Therefore, you can write, therefore, OE divided by ED is equal 5 by 3. Or else we can write using this ratio notation, OE is to ED is equal to what people? 5 is to 3. Now this is the next answer. Is the next answer. Right now, 5 is to 3. That's how we take that answer. And similarly, AE EB ratio also asking to take. Yeah. That one can easily be obtained by number 2. I'll give 2 minutes, people take that. So when you have an exam for us, people, not only one exam. In after starting paper class, people, every week we have to answer the paper. Now 2021 students, this time they go for the annual examination, February next year. They have people answered 45 papers. 45 model papers they have answered. I gave them 45 papers and I'm supposed to give them another 10 more papers, 55 altogether before the annual examination. Unfortunately, because of this COVID situation, we had to do these classes online. No? Otherwise, people, right, they had to write all these 55 papers, people, at the institute during 3 hours. All right, per week of paper. Then, keeping 1 year to this annual examination, we start the paper class. In that paper class, every week you have to write a paper. Then you can count if we do nearly 50 papers, paper, 50 examinations you will write before your annual examination. Then soon after the paper class, I take 2 answers script pen, I mark them, and next week I give them. And soon after the paper, we discuss the paper. So once you do like that, people, when you go to your annual examination, right, nearly 25 papers from applied maths, 25 papers from pure maths, you will have done. Then this applied syllabus and pure syllabus, people, you can very clearly remember as a 2 short stories. The annual examination, we have to just go there and write There's nothing to think at the examination. Looking at the sky, no need to think because everything you have practiced before that. So therefore, not only one examination, we will keep test papers like that, having keeping 1 year to your annual examination. See, just having the examinations at the moment, people, I don't think that. How can we have examinations? How can we get the idea that you are writing the papers well? When you write the papers in the classroom, people in the classroom, I am there for 3 hours. Keeping a particular gap between the students, and not allow any student to copy the next book or share the things. As very similar to the examination situation, I keep that answer in the test papers. Then people automatically, your skill will be sharpened. Okay. Otherwise, at the moment, even you what test paper to do as homework, I don't think that people that will give a rhythm of examination style. The examination style means people among your friends without having any noise in the hall. When you write people, that environment, if you can create, that is the best thing. That is the environment you have to practice. Otherwise, soon after entering into the examination hall that particular day, what happens? You get stressed. Why? You are not familiar that kind of situation. So therefore, at home, once you write that people, I don't think that we can create such environment. So therefore, I think before your annual examination, we can start physical classes. That occasion will keep the test papers like this. Okay, I can keep a test. Only thing is people preparing a paper. When I post that, you can write that at home and get in the papers through PDF or any other way by marking that I can give you. That is possible to do. That is real nothing. But my opinion is, my idea is people, that's not that much worth at the moment. We'll see, right? Okay. And the 2022 students also asking paper classes now. Now I am going to start for them. Okay, because next year the examination will also be coming December. Next year, 2022 students I am talking about. So then 1 year we have. Now next month I am going to start for the paper class and revision. There is a particular time. Now I can remember soon after starting your AL classes for 2023, some masters they have started paper classes. Soon after starting the classes, 1 month after starting the classes, paper classes. People, what you know about this enrollments to write papers, questions, then definitely in those paper classes, you have your all knowledge on, then definitely that questions papers are coming based on all elements. So in the A-level class people, why do we do all elements again? We have passed all or no. So therefore, because of those tradition, most of you might be asking, why don't you keep papers? Therefore, people, I am not in that track. So therefore, most of the time, the students will give up our class. It's never mind, people. It's never mind. Because I know what to do, when to do, how to do. So therefore, people, I know how to guide you towards the correct path. So therefore, I don't need to keep the paper class at the moment. In my 2022 students, most of the students, like 5-6 students, they stop my classes. I just inquire from their friends. So they say you are not starting yet the revision class and paper classes. Then it's all right, people. In order to answer the papers, we have covered some lessons, no people. Otherwise, from what lessons we do the questions? Then they ask me to do particular cheating things, that in the sense like. Because most of the teachers do like that. So I am not in that fashion. I know how to do this thing, when to do, what to do. So therefore, I do that at that time. Finally, people I know, all those guys they stopped and went to other classes. They will come to the class Very recent past, two students 2021 from Kekol area asking, sir, how can we join to your revision classes and theory classes? I told them in theory class, another one lesson available to finish the syllabus. In revision classes, like 4 lessons, and we have done 45 papers already. Then no use of joining the class at the moment. See, this is the situation. So therefore, people don't be hurried. Right? Don't be hurried, people. Don't be hurried. This is my 23rd batch, L batch. 23rd L batch. That means 22 batches, 21 batches already sent to the L examination. So therefore, in Canada, I think we are the oldest teachers for English medium. Right? So therefore, we have enough experience, right? So therefore, don't be hurried, people. Don't be hurried. Getting mail combined maths A pass means really very easy task. Very easy task. Work with me. That's enough. That's enough. Right. So this is not a Boston paper. This is my experience, talking about the experience. Right. So getting A pass for combined maths is very easy. Provided you work hard. Just coming to my class, nobody can get A pass. You have to work harder. There is nothing really. Okay, people then don't be hurried. If we can't do the physical class in the future as well, people, I will arrange a particular arrangement to do the papers through online, but that's on doing the papers through online, people not success. Because your yearly examination, you are not going to write through online now. So in that case, people, if your yearly examination also you are writing through online, people, that is okay to keep what the paper discussions or writing papers through online. But you are writing your yearly examination in a hall. People, the main thing practicing the papers like this, in order to actually overcome the difficulties when you enter the examination hall, suddenly your mind will change because of the examination stress. So therefore, we have to keep the examinations having such environment in the class among your friends. That is my personal opinion. That should be so, people, right? According to my personal experience. Okay, so therefore we'll keep that examination in the physical classes. Then some say I am going to stop on the online classes. Online class I keep till the end, and the paper classes at least not 50 papers, at least 20 papers. If you join the paper class and write paper, that is a good thing. And remember, I am starting your paper class not now. Next year, December or November. Till then, don't ask again about the paper class. If there are paper classes of other masters, if you need to go them, never mind. Go them and do that. Okay, right? Till then, people nothing. So your term test also coming. 2-3 term test will be coming. Okay, in there you will answer using 4-5 lessons. Right, that's enough at the moment. We'll do the papers, right? Okay, correct. Right, people, now the next one I can take by number 2. By 2, second equation is AE vector is equal to mu times AB vector. I can remove this arrows. This implies AE is equal to mu times AB. Then we can substitute for this mu 3/8. We can bring this AB to left hand side denominator. Bring this here. Now we have mu is 3/8. Right. Okay, now people, when I consider this one, AEEB, right? We have like this. Here A, here we have E, here we have B, right? When AE is 3 units, here 3 units. AB, A to B, 8 units. Here. Therefore, this should be 5. Right now, AB 8 units. AB 3 plus 5 8. AE 3. Right now, then you can answer the next part. What is that? AEEB. AEEB. Therefore, this implies AE is to EB ratio. AE is 3, EB is 9. So this is how we get that ratio. That's the end of the special paper. Right. Okay, now we'll take another one question paper. Yeah, then shall we take the question number 12 as the next one? Take question number 12 as the next. I will give 5 minutes. Start the question number 12. Take the question number 12. Take the question number 12. Question number people 12. I go like this. Simple A vector and simple B vector are two non-zero non-parallel vectors. When alpha and beta are two scalars, and if alpha A plus beta B equals null vector, show that alpha equals 0, beta equals 0. That is the theory part. Last week I proved. Yeah. Now, given next, OAB is a triangle. Given that OA vector simple A, OB vector simple B. Right. OAB is a triangle. Now, this is our triangle OAB. Right. O, here A, here B. O A vector simple A. This is simple A vector. OB vector simple B. O vector given as simple A, and OB vector given as simple B vector. Okay, no? Right. Okay, the point D is on OB. The point D is on OB and E is on OA, so that ODDB 1/2. ODDB. OD here we have DB. Then what's the ratio? OD 1, DB 2 people like this. DB 2 units, OD 1 unit. And point E is on OA. OE, EA 2:3. E is here. When OE is 2 units, EA is 3 units. This is 2, this is 3. Like this. This is different. The lines AD and BE. AD and BE. AD is this line over here. AD and BE. Show that OG can be expressed as OG equals simple A vector plus lambda times simple B vector by simple B vector divided by 3 minus simple A vector, and OG the other way, B plus this. These two answers we have to obtain people. OG vector. This OG vector we need to find in 2 ways. Okay, people now, in this case, we need to take two answers for OG. Okay, this vector. This OG vector, now first decide how to get this OG vector by using the triangle law of extension. In two ways, you have to search now. You can very easily see people in this diagram. For this OG vector, I can write two relations by using the triangle law of vector addition. OG vector is equal to O A vector plus A G vector is one way of obtaining OG vector by using the triangle law of vector addition. The other way of writing this OG vector is by O B plus B G. There are two ways of getting this OG vector by using the triangle law of vector addition. Once you get that at once to your mind, people, now you have a particular way to start the question. Now suppose when we use this part, OG vector is equal to O A plus AG. OA vector we know as simple as AG vector is unknown. And then our next one should be what? How to find this AG vector? How to find this AG vector? Yeah, AG vector you can find like this. First we take AD vector. We find AD vector. And now this AG vector you can write as a part of AD vector. Then we get AG vector. That case only people the lambda and mu will right come to the equations. Secondly, people, when you go other path to find this OG vector, we can write O B plus B G. OB is known, BG we need to find. Then we have to think a method of finding this BG vector. BG vector can be found, people. First we find BE vector. Then BG vector you can write as a part of BE vector. Understand? So that's how we can plan. So at once, people, you won't get these ideas. But now, rather than the early question, now you have little idea than the earlier. This approach is okay. Right? Okay, so therefore, people gradually only this will come. So therefore, another 2 or 3 questions in here we have to do. Yeah. So then I am going to find this AD vector first. Okay, AD vector I am going to find first. Right. So now we will write AD vector. People tell me how to write AD vector. AD vector you can write particular. AD vector. Move A O O D. Understand? Right? AD vector is equal to AO vector plus OD vector. Because this AO vector you can write by interchanging the all of the letters as minus OA. Can someone tell me how to find this OD vector as a part of OB vector? Yeah, OB vector we divide by sum of the ratios. 1 plus 2 is 3. That should be multiplied by this 1 because we need to take OD. Okay, then how to write that one, people? OD vector is 1. First is OB vector. We divide by what? 1 plus 2, the sum of the ratios. And we need to take OD vector, then that 1 we should multiply by this value 1, which is the ratio figure corresponding to this OD. Should be multiplied by 1. When you multiply by 1, it won't change. No? Right. We take like this. Now we write people AD vector minus OA vector. What's OA vector? What way? Simply plus here this one we can write as 1/3. OB vector simple B. Okay. So then I can write this one as how people AD vector you can write Drag this B vector by 3 first, minus this A. This is our AD vector. Right? Yeah. Now, this AG vector, you can write as a part of AD vector. You can write also AG vector, you can write a multiple of AD vector. Since this AG is shorter than this AD, to get this AG by AD must be multiplied by a real number. That real number should be less than 1. And we will take the real number as lambda. What is lambda? Lambda is a real number. Okay. AG vector you can write it as a multiple of AD vector. Right? Then we have this AD vector, we are here. Then AG vector you can write therefore AG vector you can write it lambda times AD vector. It's B vector by 3 minus A. Now AG vector we have. Now tell me people how to find this OG vector. Now OG vector can be found how? O A plus A G. Correct now? Right. Now OG vector you can write people O A vector plus A G vector. O A vector is simple A vector. OA is simple A vector plus AG is this vector. Lambda times particle. Vector simple B divided by 3 minus vector simple A. That gives us the first answer, no? That gives us the first answer. Right. Now, second form for this OG. Second form. Second form. Right. Take the second form, people. We need this VG vector. We need this VG vector because we are going to write OG vector as O V plus VG. To find this VG vector, what I do is, people, I write first VE vector. I write first VE vector. V to E vector I am going to write. By using what? Triangle of vector addition V O plus O E. O E vector you can write as part of O A vector. How? Divide this O A vector by the sum of the ratio figures and multiply that by this 2 because corresponding ratio figure for this OE is 2. Then you know BE vector. Then BG vector you can write as a part of BE vector. As a part of BE vector. Thereby, we can take the second answer too. People try this question to get the second answer for OG. I'll give you 2-3 minutes. I'll take it. Okay, right. Now, next one, people, we'll write this VE vector. VE vector, you can write V to E vector as how, people? V O plus O E. V O plus O E. This VE vector you can write as minus OB, no people. Minus OB, once we in the order of letters, minus sign coming. And this OE vector, we can write as a portion of OA vector. What people? OA vector. OA vector I must divide by the sum of the ratios. 2 plus 3 is 5. And the corresponding ratio figure for this OA is 2. This is multiplied by 2 people. Then we can substitute 4. This one I am going to write first. 2 divided by 5. OA vector is equal to A vector minus OB vector is equal to B vector. That is the BE vector. Here now we can say also this BG vector, look at this BG, B to G. BG vector is a shorter vector. That BG vector you can write as part of BE vector. So therefore, to obtain this BG vector, I can obtain this BG vector as a part of BE vector, That means multiply BE vector by a value. That value is less than 1 because BG is a shorter line segment. So then I am going to assume, or I am going to use this number here. We have to multiply this BE to obtain this BG as mu. I am going to assume like that, and then I can write this as mu. Any other letter also you can take, but in the answer we have mu, no, so therefore I put mu. K O, K dash O, N O, N O, N T you can use there. To get the answer in terms of mu only I put that one. Right? What's mu? Mu is a real number. Real number means numbers in our daily life we use. Okay. Now BG can be obtained like that. BG vector is therefore mu times BE vector. BE vector is 2 divided by 5, simple A vector minus simple B vector. Now we can write people OG vector. OG vector you can write OB plus BG. OB plus BG. Substitute for this OB vector. OB vector is equal to B. And BG vector is this. Mu times 2 divided by 5 times C minus simple B. I think this is the next answer asking. Right. Now we will ask you next one. Hence find OG vector. Hence find OG vector. People, OG vector can be found by using this or by using this. If we use this one, we should know the value of lambda. If we use this one, we should know the value of mu. So therefore, either lambda or mu we have to find. Then to find this lambda or mu, what can here do, people? This OG vector and this OG vector is the same, no? Left hand side be the same. Therefore, this right hand side should also be the same. Then we equate this to this. Then we get vector equation involving A and B vectors. But this A and B vectors, people, here this is A vector, this is B vector. They are two non-zero, non-parallel vectors. So therefore, the left and right coefficients of A and B vectors we can equate. Thereby, you can take two equations and mu, thereby find lambda or mu. Then you can find this OG vector substituting in the relevant expression. Understood? Right. Now we can people this OG vector. Equate OG vectors and take that lambda and mu. One is enough, right? Equating OG vectors, we can write here vector A plus lambda times vector B by 3 minus vector A equals there B plus mu times 2 by 5 A minus B. We get like this, huh? Now equate the coefficients of simple A vector and simple B vector on both sides. I am going to equate the simple A coefficients. All right. Now, in our earlier question, I removed the brackets both sides and brought simple A vectors together, be separated together in the left and right. Now I am not going to do that. Directly I take. It's very easy. No need to write that step. Okay. Yeah. Here, what is the coefficient of A? 1. No. A means 1 mean of coefficient is 1. When you remove the bracket, people, we have to multiply this lambda and this minus a, people. What we get there? Minus lambda, There, what is the coefficient of this a? Minus lambda. That should come here. Minus lambda. Okay. Left hand side, simple a coefficient is 1 minus lambda. Right hand side, you write mu multiplied by 2 by 5 simple a. What is this? 2 mu divided by 5. It is the coefficient of a. Then this should be equal to 2 mu by 5. Let us take this as number 1. That's much easy, no, people. No need to remove the brackets. Right. Next one, coefficients of b in the left hand side. Left hand side, by this lambda, we have multiplied this one. Lambda multiplied by vector b divided by 3. What is this? Lambda divided by 3 vector b. Then the coefficient of vector b is equal to lambda by 3. Right hand side. Here 1, b means 1, we know. 1, but is mu into minus b. Mu into minus b mean people minus mu b. Coefficient is minus mu. That's all. Okay. Now, I take people multiply both sides by 3. Then when you multiply this by 3, we get 3 and this 3 will cancel off because this multiplied by 3 we must write here. That you can cancel down. Then we get lambda. Right hand side, this and this both you should multiply by 3 now. Then 1 into 3 is 3 minus 3 mu. I take this as our equation number 2, people. I took that pick. Okay. Okay. Now to find out this mu, what I can do is people add this 1 and 2. Add this 1 and 2. When you add these two equations, the left hand sides you have to add together, right hand side together. When you add this them, when you add this left hand side people, 1 minus lambda here plus lambda, the left hand side of number 2. And right hand side, 2 mu divided by 5 plus 3 minus 3 mu. You can very clearly notice people this minus lambda and plus lambda will cancel down. Bring this 3 to this side, that will be minus 3. Left hand side we have 1, 1 minus 3. Now on the right hand side people we have 2 mu by 5 minus 3 mu we have. Okay. Now multiply both sides by 5. Because of 2 eliminate this 5. Or taking the common denominator 5, right hand side also correct. Yeah. We multiply by 5 people, both sides. Here what is 1 minus 3? Minus 2. When you multiply that minus 2 by 5, we get minus 10. Equals. When you multiply this by 5 people, 5 and this 5 we can cancel down. It's 2 mu. When you multiply this by 5 people, we get 15 mu. Okay. 2 mu minus 15 mu means people minus 13 mu. Left hand side it's minus 10. Then minus signs you can cancel down from both sides, divided by 13. Then the mu will be equal to 10 by 13. Okay, that answer I write here. Mu equals 10 by 13. Here lambda, I am not going to find the lambda because in the question nowhere given lambda and mu should be determined. No, we are given to find this OG vector. To find this OG vector, only one unknown, either lambda or mu enough. Since we have found that mu value, put it that we are here, we can find OG vector. Understand? So therefore, I am not going to find lambda. In the early question people we had been given, determine lambda and mu are constant to be determined. That means there you have to find both unknowns. Understood? Right. Now mu value is okay, 10 by 13. Put that here and keep simplifying this, obtain OG. Right. Then you can write OG so that we are here. Finding lambda and substituting that lambda here, when you find OG, the same answer which we get from this, we get. Okay? Right. And now I substitute for this mu here. Therefore, OG. Vector B plus mu is 10 by 13 to divide by 5a minus b. Explain, I raise this one people. OG vector is therefore equal to simple b vector plus. Now by this 10 by 13, you multiply this and this. Ten by 13 into by 5 times a minus 10 by 13 into B. We can cancel down this 5 and this 10. We can cancel down by 5. Then we get OG vector B plus 2 and 2 makes equal 4. A divided by 13 minus 10 divided by 13 vector B. Right? Now, here we have 1 as the denominator of this vector B. I take common denominator for all these 3 as 13. Then this B should be multiplied by 13. Then we get 13B there plus 4A vector minus 10B vector. 13B vector minus 10B vector is equal to 3B vector. Then OG vector is equal to 13B minus 10B is equal to 3B. 3B plus 4A divided by 13. This is the OG vector. This is the OG vector. Right. Now people read the next one. Read the next part of the question. You are given this way. The line OG produced meet AB at D dash. The line is produced. This is the point we know. This OG is produced. When OG is produced, that cuts at D dash, the side AB. This is D dash. Given people, the line OG is produced. Line OG we extend. Then that extended line OG cuts this AB at D dash. That's what we are given. Now asking to find OD dash. OD dash. Right now, people. Yeah. Let's see find this OD dash. Right. I take it like this. This is all right. Now, people, this OD dash can be obtained by multiplying OG by a value, no? Now, for example, suppose like this. Here, suppose O we have, G we have, D dash we have. Suppose this OG length is 2, OD dash is 6. Then you can directly understand OD dash length. You can write 3 times OG, no? OD dash length. We can write 3 times OG, correct? No? When OG is 2, put here 2, 3 into 2, 6. OD dash coming. Like that, people. OD OG dash vector, now you can write multiplying this OG by a value. The value we don't know, but we are sure that value should be greater than 1. Why, people? From a smaller one, if we need to take a bigger one, from a smaller one, if we need to take a bigger one, the smaller one should be multiplied by a value which is more than 1. Then only we get the great answer. So therefore, that number, this OG should be multiplied to get OD dash. I am going to assume as K. Understood? Right? I am going to assume as K. Now OD dash. Now let OD dash vector is equal to K times OG vector. Right? What is K? K is a real number. K is a real number. Then OD dash you can write. OD dash vector K times OG vector, there we have 3 B vector by plus 4A divided by 13. We take this as equation simple A. Okay, yeah. Next one. People now see here AD dash B dash B. I take this here. A here, B dash here, B here. People, by this D dash, this AB line is divided, no? For example, suppose here, this is 2, this is 3, for example only, yeah? Then I can write this way, no, people? A D dash divided by, right? D dash B. This ratio when I write 2 by 3, no? 2 by 3. Okay. People, furthermore, I can divide both the numerator and denominator by 2. But this function one change, though we divide both the numerator and denominator by the same value. So therefore, once I divide this 2 by 2, we get 1. When I divide this 3 by 2, 3 divided by 2 is 1.5. So therefore, we have this AD dash divided by D dash B is equal to 1 is to 1.5, 1 upon 1.5. That means the same ratio 2 is to 3 we have taken earlier, people. Now we can write as 1 and is to 1.5. This way we can write. It says, people, any ratio having two different numbers can be written as involving the real number 1 and another real number. They exist. So therefore, people, I am going to assume the ratio AD dash is to D dash B as 1 is to K dash. That means any ratio you can write, people, involving 1 and another number dividing this way. Okay, then we assume that, right? Now we can write like this, people. Now let what, people? AD dash divided by D dash B. I am going to assume as, people, K dash. I am going to assume as K dash. On the right hand side, this denominator is 1. What is that, people? AD dash divided by D dash B equals K dash is 1. What is K dash? K dash is a real number. So once I mark this AD dash K dash, AD dash is this, people. K dash. D dash B 1. This is 1. K dash. When you take like that, K dash is an unknown. We'll find that later. Now tell me how to write AB dash vector in terms of AB. Now you can write people AB dash vector in terms of AB. People add these ratio figures 1 plus K dash. Then AB vector we have divided this 1 plus K dash. And take this AB dash vector, that one should be multiplied by K dash. Understand? Then we get AB dash vector K dash upon 1 plus K dash times AB vector. This will be it. Now, what is this AB vector? AB vector we can write as AO vector plus OB vector. Right now. Then I will write that here. AB dash is equal to P dash divided by 1 plus P dash. AB vector we can write equal AB vector we can write AO plus OB. Then we have PD dash vector. It's K dash divided by 1 plus K dash. AO you can write as minus OA. AO you can write as minus OA. OA vector is simple A. OB vector is simple A. Then AB dash vector is equal to K dash divided by 1 plus K dash vector B minus vector A. This AB it. Why did we find this AD dash vector? People, now we can write this OD dash vector again by OA plus AD dash. To find this OD dash vector in another way, we found this AD dash. Why? Then that secondly OD dash vector and first OD dash vector we can equate. Thereby this K and K dash we can find. Then we can find this OD dash. That's why we found that AD dash is B. Okay, right. So now I can write OD dash vector is equal to OA vector plus AD dash vector. OA vector plus AD dash vector. Right. What is OA vector? Simple A. AD dash is K dash divided by 1 plus K dash. It's B minus A into B minus A. This is the OD dash vector in the second form. First form of this. Right? Now you have the idea. Now if you put this OD dash, using this equation, we should have K. If we find OD dash using this equation, we need K dash. Anyhow, people, K or K dash. One of these two we need. Now our purpose is to find K or K dash. For this, what we do is, people, this OD dash right hand side and this OD dash right hand side, we equate. Understood? Equate them, man. Now you can equate the coefficients of A and B in the left and right. Thereby draw two equations involving K and K dash and solve in them find K or K dash. Right? Thereafter you can take the answer of OD dash vector. Right, people? That's the method. Might feel this is a bit long. No, not long, really. This is max, people. Okay, right. Now comes this. I'll take this as B. Now you can equate equation A and equation B, you can equate. Right. Equation A times 3B plus OA divided by 13. Equation B is this vector A plus K dash divided by 1 plus K dash B minus A. Now, in the left and right, equate the coefficients of simple A and simple B. Equate the coefficients of simple A and simple B. They obtain two equations involving K and K dash. Yeah. Here also people ask if I am not going to remove the brackets. Right. Now here, K into this 4K divided by 13 is the coefficient of A. K into 4K divided by 13 is the coefficient of A, the left hand side. That on right hand side, here one. By this whole thing, you have to remove this bracket. Here we have minus sign, minus this thing now coming as the coefficient of A on the right hand side. We write it minus K dash upon 1 plus K dash. Radical. Yeah. You take this as equation alpha. Equating coefficient of B in the left and right. K we have to multiply this 3K divided by 13B. They want the coefficient of B 3K by 13. 3K by 13. Equals. People right hand side coefficient of B, here we have 1. This and this we have 1. K dash divided by 1 plus K dash into 1. K dash divided by 1 plus K dash 1. Let us take this as beta. Now, this is beta, then this thing will cancel with this and directly you get the value of K. Directly you get the value of K. Understand people? Right. And this alpha and beta. And this alpha and beta. When you add this alpha and beta people here, this left hand side you have to add together 4K by 13 plus 3K by 13 is equal to, because once you add right hand side is minus K dash upon 1 plus K dash will cancel off with this plus K dash upon 1 plus K dash, giving 1. Then here common dividend is 13, 4K plus 3K is 7K equals 1. Bring cross multiplication like this. Then submit K. K going to be 13 into 1 means 13 divided by 7 is the K. We found this K people. We need to find this OD dash no. And that K we substitute in this equation simple A. Thereby we can take this OD dash vector. Therefore, by simple A, we can write OD dash vector substituting this K value 13 by 7. Right. Then 3B vector plus 4A vector divided by 13. 13 and this you can cancel down. Then OD dash vector going to be, here after cancellation we have 1, here and here, 1 upon 7. 3b plus 4a I can write as 4a plus 3b. We got that people, OD dash vector. We got that OD dash vector. That's good. Right now, part is also over. Right. Another part ask in there, people. What's that? Hence, find OC vector such that OACD dash is a parallelogram. Parallelogram OACD dash. OACD dash is a parallelogram. Right. Now, when I complete that OACD dash parallelogram, yeah, through this A, I must draw a line parallel to OD dash. Just like this now. This way. And through this D, I have to draw a line parallel to this way. OA. This one furthermore. Incline more. This point should be equal to C. This and this being parallel. This and this being parallel. Then only this becomes a parallelogram. Now, what is asking people? Asking OC vector. OC vector is this now. OC vector is this now. You can tell me how to write this OC vector. OC vector, you can write O D dash plus D dash C. But you know, people, this D dash C and this OA equal and parallel because this is the parallelogram. So therefore, D dash C vector is equal to this OA vector simply. This is simply. Therefore, OC vector you can write out O D dash plus D dash C. Understood? Right. Then you can write OC vector. OC vector you can write people O D dash vector plus D dash C vector. OC vector is therefore OD dash. This is 1 upon 7 OA plus 3B. D dash C is simple A vector. Then take common dividend as 7, then you get this OC vector. Take the common dividend as 7, this one change, OA plus 3B plus 7A. Then you get 11A plus 3B by 7. This is the OC vector. This is how we find that OC vector. And people now in this tutorial, up to question number 47, all the questions you can do. Up to 47, all the questions now you can do as homework. In improving your skill as homework, up to you people. Now, first do these 2 questions again. We could only do questions today. That's okay, people enough. I think you could understand them well. Without keeping any doubtful face, people, I explained every possible instant and the point, so that your mind is now free regarding this one. If we get a particular doubt why we do this one, people, that may be another reason to get afraid to work out questions alone. Now first do these two questions. And while you are doing these two questions yourself, people, you will get your own method of thinking to get answers. Then people try to press questions. Then I think you can answer 10 12 questions before next day. Next day also we're supposed to do some questions and we go for the next part of the vectors. That's the vector product, dot product and cross product part. Okay. Then what is the any question? Can we have recording of vector from beginning? Why did you join the class from the beginning? Absent. Yeah, recording available. To get the recording, you have to forward us your email address, and then I register your email address, and you have to, of course, activate your Zoom account. So we will get a email message. There will be a link. Once you click that link, you have to fill something, and again forward. Then your Zoom account will be activated. Then you have to click the recording link. After sending that to me, I think you can get after approving your recording. That's the process. Okay. All right. So then people do those questions as homework. Right. Asking 20th question. 20th question, people will discuss next day. It's very easy one. Try the questions. Then we'll do the class next Monday. Right? Then people, I can't end of today lesson here. Any question here? If you have any question today regarding today's lesson, then tell me. If not, the rest questions we'll do next week in the class. Seem to be no questions. Okay, then we stop the class here, people. We meet next day. Bye, everybody.